Welcome to The Evidence Locker, a podcast where we dive into true crime cases from around the world, separating fact from fiction, rumor from reality, and always keeping the focus on justice for the victims. Today we are examining two cases that have haunted central Massachusetts for decades: the disappearance and murders of Molly Bish and Holly Piirainen. In part 1, we'll cover the tragic story of Molly Bish, a 16-year-old lifeguard who vanished in broad daylight, sparking the most exhaustive search in Massachusetts history. Part 2 will focus on Holly Piirainen, just 10 years old when she never returned from a walk to see puppies near her grandparents' home in Sturbridge. In Part 3, we'll discuss the suspected overlap, exploring connections, suspects, and the ongoing search for justice. This episode was produced with support from publicly available police reports, press coverage, and the tireless advocacy of the Bish and Piirainen families. It was a bright summer morning on June 27, 2000, in Warren, Massachusetts. Molly Bish was a young woman on the cusp of adulthood. She worked as a lifeguard at Commons Pond, a local spot where the community gathered for picnics, swimming lessons, and those cherished slices of summer Americana. At just 16 years old, with her ambitions set on college and dreams of living life to the fullest, Molly stood on the beach at Commons Pond, completely unaware that she would soon become central to one of the most enduring mysteries in Massachusetts criminal history. That morning, Molly's mother, Maggie Bish, dropped her daughter off around 10 a.m., just as she had the previous days that summer. But something felt off. As Molly unloaded her lifeguard gear, Maggie noticed a man sitting in a white car parked near the beach. He appeared out of place, alone, observing the pond. The man's presence unsettled Maggie, but she had no concrete reason to suspect trouble, so she left, trusting her instincts, but also trusting the safety of Warren. Molly never reported for work that day. Within hours, swimmers and fellow lifeguards noticed her absence. Her sandals were abandoned on the sand. Her first aid kit lay open, untouched. Calls were placed to the Bish family, and panic quickly replaced the haze of ordinary summer. Molly was gone, vanished without a trace. The disappearance catalyzed the most extensive and expensive search operation in Massachusetts history. Local, state, and federal law enforcement descended on the area. Helicopters, search dogs, volunteers, the whole community mobilized. Don't you dare call this a cold case, because a cold case means there's a folder somewhere collecting dust, Worcester District Attorney Joseph Early later reflected, capturing the urgency and relentless pursuit that characterized this investigation. Days turned into weeks, and then months. The Bish family endured the agony of unanswered questions. What had happened to Molly? Where could she be? The community rallied, holding vigils, distributing flyers, organizing search parties. The Bish Foundation was born of this tragedy, a testimony to the family's hope and their refusal to let Molly's light fade. 3 years passed. The emotional landscape shifted from panic to grief as hope receded. Then, on June 9, 2003, a local hunter found a blue swimsuit half buried in a wooded area in neighboring Palmer, about 5 miles from the Bish family home. Nearby, they discovered skeletal remains, the body of Molly Bish. The missing persons case had officially transformed into a homicide investigation. Despite the decomposition, authorities believed that Molly was murdered, though the exact cause of death couldn't be determined. Over the years, several suspects came to the attention of investigators, some more serious than others. In 2021, the DA identified Francis Frank Sumner Sr. as a person of interest, a convicted sex offender who had died in 2016. His son's DNA was tested but failed to match the crime scene DNA, deepening the mystery. Other suspects, including Gerald Battistoni, a convicted rapist who attempted suicide after being identified as a potential suspect, and Rodney Stranger, a convicted killer investigated both for Bish's and Holly Piirainen's murder, remained only suspects with no charges ever filed. The investigations also considered possible links to cases in other states, but nothing stuck. Molly's story is marked by her family's resolve. Because of Molly, families now have access to improved child safety protocols, including Amber Alerts and enhanced search and rescue procedures, her family stated. The Bish Foundation works tirelessly for child safety, survivor support, and the resolution of cold cases. Molly's sister, Heather Bish, became a national advocate, pressing for advanced DNA testing and sharing Molly's story on social media and through community events. The investigation into Molly Bish's killing remains active. More than 6,700 tips have poured into the tip line over 25 years. New DNA testing technologies offer hope, but as of today, the killer remains unidentified. Molly's legacy is not only the fight for justice, but the ripples her story sent throughout the world of child protection and law enforcement. Her name has inspired reforms, changed policies, and continues to be a beacon for every family enduring the nightmare of a missing child. 7 years before Molly Bish's disappearance, the small community of Sturbridge, just a short drive from Warren, was rocked by the tragedy of Holly Piirainen. It was August 5th, 1993, and 10-year-old Holly, along with her younger brother, left her grandparents' home to visit a neighbor's house to see a litter of puppies. Only one of the siblings returned. When Holly did not come back after more than an hour, her father called the police, and a search began almost immediately, drawing in local and state law enforcement from Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. A clue emerged. One of Holly's sneakers was found near South Shore Road, adding urgency and dread to the growing search effort. For weeks, volunteers and police combed the countryside, woods, roads, and rural cabins. The Piirainen family, like the Bish family years later, became the heart of a community dedicated to finding a lost child, to closing a wound that would never truly heal. 2 months passed. On October 23, 1993, hunters discovered Holly's skeletal remains in a wooded area off of Five Bridge Road in Brimfield, just a few miles from where she had disappeared. The location and circumstances were eerily similar to Molly Bish's fate. The police seized evidence from the area, including a white tank top with a Boston logo in blue, purple, and pink, found in the vicinity of Holly's remains. The shirt was tagless, with no size or identifying information. Its origin and owner remain unknown to this day. Years passed, and the Piirainen family, supported by community members and law enforcement, continued their plea for answers. Holly's case has never faded from memory, memorialized in the Holly Piirainen Scholarship Fund and the Garden of Peace in Boston. Each new technology brought hope: a new round of forensic testing, a DNA sweep, or a tip campaign inspired by other cold cases solved with advancements in genetic analysis. A major breakthrough seemed possible in 2012 when the Hampton County District Attorney's Office announced that forensic evidence, undisclosed in detail, had linked a deceased Springfield resident, David Pouliot, to the crime scene near Holly's body. Pouliot, who died in 2003, had hunted and fished in the area, but investigators never formally named him as a suspect. The nature of the forensic evidence and the type of testing remain confidential, a tantalizing shadow in the search for Holly's killer. The case remains active, fueled by family determination and law enforcement efforts. As recently as October 2025, Hampton County DA Anthony Galunni hosted a forensic investigative genetic genealogy event, inviting local residents to voluntarily submit DNA samples to public genealogy databases. The goal? To build family trees, find distant connections, and pin down the identity of the killer who has eluded justice for more than 3 decades. The white tank top with the Boston logo also remains a focal piece of the investigation. The DA's office publicly appealed for information about the shirt. Where was it sold? Who might have owned it? Can anyone remember seeing it in 1993? Any small detail could be the missing link. Public appeals stress that no tip is too minor. A group of retired police investigators known as the Four of Us actively partner with current law enforcement to pursue every lead, every memory, every rumor. Their open letter urges the community to overcome fear, step forward, and tell the truth. Even if it's just a small detail, a suspicion, or an overheard story. The agony endures as Holly's family waits for justice after 32 years. Various persons of interest have surfaced over the years, including exhumations of potential suspects' bodies and investigations into local men with criminal backgrounds. Yet no charges have ever been filed, and Holly's killer remains at large. From Holly's case came further advocacy for DNA technology, mirroring the efforts seen in the Bish case, and strong hope for a resolution through forensic science, genealogy, and tireless community vigilance. As the Bish and Piirainen cases unfolded against the backdrop of rural Hampton County, Massachusetts, investigators and families alike began to see disturbing similarities between the two. Both Molly and Holly disappeared in daylight, in quiet communities, while performing innocuous tasks. A lifeguard shift, a walk to see puppies. Both vanished near water, their bodies later found in nearby wooded areas, each sparking massive search operations and ongoing heartbreak. The suspicion of a serial predator, or at least a common perpetrator, took root early. Molly Bish was just 10 years old when Holly Piirainen went missing. In a touching gesture, she wrote a heartfelt letter to Holly's family, expressing her sympathy. "I am very sorry. I wish I could make it up to you. Holly is a very pretty girl. She is almost as tall as me. I wish I knew Holly. I hope they found her." 7 years later, Molly herself fell victim to a still unidentified killer. The overlap was both chilling and tragic. Law enforcement, news outlets, and private investigators have repeatedly questioned whether the same individual could have killed both girls. The cases share geographic proximity. Both disappeared in central Massachusetts, their remains discovered in Hampton County, no more than 8 miles apart. Both investigations had large gaps in early forensic practice. Notably, in Molly's case, the crime scene was not preserved properly at first, with state police only becoming involved hours later. Several suspects have been considered for both cases. David Pouliot was linked to the Holly Piirainen case through forensic evidence, but never charged, and he died in 2003. He is named in relation to both cases, but details on the overlap remain confidential. Gerald Battistoni was investigated after a prison suicide attempt. He had a criminal history involving sexual assault and was in the area where Molly's body was found. He was also considered suspicious in Holly's murder, but was never formally charged. Rodney Stanger was briefly investigated for both cases, as he had lived near Sturbridge at the time of Holly's disappearance and fit some identified behavioral patterns. However, no charges were filed and no conclusive forensic link has emerged. Francis Frank Sumner Sr. was named as Molly Bish's primary person of interest in 2021. His DNA failed to match crime scene evidence. There is no direct connection established to Holly's case, although law enforcement has not ruled out further investigation. One tantalizing thread linking the cases is the description of a suspicious man in a white car seen by Molly's mother. In Holly's case, a brown pickup truck was seen in the area around the time of her disappearance, with reports that the truck slowed down to a crawl next to two teenage girls walking home, as well as suspicious behavior by a mailbox. Police reports show leads were followed on these vehicles, but the connections remain circumstantial. Despite similarities, no concrete evidence has conclusively linked the two murders, with one source stating, as of October 2025, no evidence has been revealed supporting this theory. That uncertainty has not stopped speculation. The community, supported by retired investigators and family advocates, refuse to let go of the possibility that one person may hold the key to both. Open letters, podcasts, tip lines, and ongoing DNA events serve as reminders that justice for Molly and Holly may rest on the next breakthrough, a newly processed DNA sample, a memory that surfaces after years, or an unforeseen confession. Both the Piirainen and Bish families have worked to keep hope alive, not only for their daughters, but for all children. Their activism shepherded changes in missing persons protocols, child safety, DNA technology, and public awareness. DA offices in Worcester and Hampton counties, together with the Massachusetts State Police, continue their commitment to solve both cases. As stated in recent years, our state police detectives, prosecutors, and victim witness advocates remain dedicated to solving this case and finding justice for Molly's family. And each DNA sample has the power to bring us closer to the truth. Until the truth is known, the wounds from the disappearances of Molly Bish and Holly Piirainen remain open in the heart of every person who ever loved them.